with a group of people that put on a program that's called Winners Wear Helmets. Our goal is to help make sure that kids are wearing a helmet each time they're on any type of wheeled sport, such as bicycles, scooters, skates, anything like that. But it's important that kids wear a helmet and they wear a correctly fitted helmet. So today we're going to do Helmet Fitting 101 and show you how to correctly fit a helmet. First of all, you want to identify what type of helmet you have. I have two helmets here with two different systems on how to tighten the helmet. We've got a system on this helmet where it's really easy, where you can tighten and loosen to get it to fit correctly. And then we have a different type of system where we need pads to make sure that the helmet is fitting correctly. I'm going to show you this system first. And what we want to do is take a helmet that fits the person's head comfortably. You don't want it so tight that it's uncomfortable, but you want it to be snug on the head. So when we put the helmet on, you want it to come down over the head and cover a large portion of the head. When it's on, you want it to be straight across the brow, but you want it to be 1 to 2 fingers above the eyebrow. You do not want it to be back on the forehead like this. When you fall on a bike, chances are you're going to fall forward, so you want to make sure that you have that forehead protected. Now with this helmet, it's a little bit loose because I can feel a little bit of wiggle room in there. So I have two options. If I had a smaller helmet, I could try that on to see if that would be a better fit. But because this is pretty good, I'm pretty sure that next size down would be too small. So I'm going to stay with this helmet. And to get it to fit correctly, I'm going to use pads to make it fit better. To do that, what I would do is to take out the existing pads in the helmet and replace it with thicker pads. We never ever put a pad on top of one another. Take the existing pad out first, then replace it with the newer, thicker pads. And once you've replaced those pads, if you put it back on the head, if it's too small still, you can take additional pads and put them in places on the helmet where it's not going to interfere with the straps or the ventilation. We don't want to put pads on the bottom of the helmet though. As this is demonstration purposes, I'm not actually going to replace these pads, but we're going to go ahead and put the helmet on the head, and then the next step is to make sure that the straps are fitting correctly. When we do that, what we want to do is make sure the straps are laying flat across the face, a strap in front of the ear, a strap behind the ear. So this little mechanism right there comes to a V just below the ear. And then what we want to do is snap underneath. This is a little bit too much space, so it's going to cause wiggle room. What we want to do is there's a little rubber band that holds the straps in place. We want to take the straps out of that rubber band so we can tighten up. Okay. So when you have that snapped, if they open their mouth, they should feel a pull on the straps. Okay. So when you look at the helmet, on each side, these are at the same spot on each helmet, right below, on each side of the face. Those are at the same spot to help hold that helmet in place. Now that looks like it's a correctly fitting helmet, but our next test to make sure that it's correctly fitting is if I tap, it's moving backwards, so that's probably not a very good fit. Or if we do the shake test, we tell them to shake their head from side to side. No, actually go no from side to side. It's not really staying with the helmet, or the head is not staying with the helmet. That the head's moving one way and the helmet's moving the other way. There's a little bit of wiggle room, so we would want to tighten this helmet up a little bit. And that's when I would use the pads. Now I'm going to show you a second helmet. One of the key things as you're taking the helmets on and off is have the person raise their chin up and you're less likely to pinch them. The other thing is when you're done fitting, make sure you put those straps back under that rubber band, because that's what's going to hold that clip in place so it doesn't continue to slide off. Our next type of helmet system has the mechanism back here. So for this kind of helmet, we do not need pads. So we can fit it better to the head without using the pads. And again, when we put a helmet on the head, We want to make sure that we know the front from the back. The back is usually bigger. The front is a little bit more aerodynamic. If it's a Bell helmet, they usually have the Bell sticker at the front to indicate the front from the back. Again, we've got the helmet, so it's down on the head, and this one's fitting nice and snug. There's no wiggle room in this helmet, so this is a better fitting helmet for her. And then we take the straps on either side of the ear, and we snap it into place, and there's still a little bit of room, so I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. We don't want it so tight that the person wearing the helmet is uncomfortable, otherwise they're going to loosen it too much, but we want it snug where you can only get about a finger between the bottom of the chin and the strap, or again when they open their mouth you can feel a pull or a tug on these straps. But the strap is lying flat against the head. This is at a V to the ear, and now when we do this, the helmet's not moving anywhere. It's not pulling back. This time you can do the shake test. The helmet is moving with the head correctly, so that's a good fitting helmet. That helmet's going to stay on the head. Sometimes, like with this blue helmet, when she shook her head, you didn't see a whole lot of movement, but I could hear it moving on her head, and that's something else that you want to listen to, is hearing to see if there's any movement and seeing if there's any movement. If there is, we either need to get the helmet more snug to the head using the pads or tightening up the cinching mechanism or tightening up the straps. If that doesn't work, then maybe we need a different size helmet.